6 months ago in October, I made a video about my review of Alter Ego, which is yet another ASIM, but this time made by the same people who developed TDS. Over those 6 months, a lot of stuff has somehow happened in the ASIM community. About 50 of them were shot dead due to controversy, Outcome Memories legit imploded, Forsaken's, you know, Light by Night came out, and it's just all FNAF 2. All of this was going down while Alter Ego was just getting developed normally, without any drama. I don't know how it's that hard, but you know. Leaks were shown in the progress channel and a few patches were published over the months, such as them adding new survivor and general changes and fixes trying to flesh out their final gameplay loop that they'd envisioned. All of these efforts boiled to a certain date being March 30th, where it was announced that Alter Ego would be finally releasing into beta on April 24th. Since Alter Ego has finally broken into beta, I feel like it's a fitting time to make another video, my second video into 2026, and go over the game's current state to see what has changed and figure out, is the game worth playing now after all of these changes. Before I do that though, if you do enjoy this video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe so I can buy Resident Evil Requiem DLC when it comes out, because this game's awesome, fully worth $80. But yeah, let's get into it, I suppose. Starting with general stuff, there has been a lot of changes to gameplay maps and other things of sorts. The biggest change is that instead of having the shitty hybrid of surviving a short timer and requiring to do generators to leave, it's completely swapped to just surviving a timer being 8 minutes long. Generators also got some changes, now just reducing time once being completed. All of them being refreshed in looks and being balanced, especially with the Among Us puzzle. It feels a lot nicer to do, along with a new type of puzzle being added in a patch a while ago, but I'm covering it now, so deal with it. It's a rhythm type minigame using WASD corresponding to the arrows on the screen, and I think it's the most unique puzzle while also being the most fun. There are still 7 survivors, but now there are 7 generators you can do to lower the time. Survivors are still able to run and vault over small walls, but now also have the chance to find consumables around the map. They didn't add any consumables that can stun the killer, which I also visualized being a crowbar, but they did add the basic consumables being like medkits and speed colas for health and speed. They brushed up on the already existing maps and made them a lot cooler, along with them adding a new map, which I think is called Blackline Corp, but it's like called Office. I'm going off of this tweet, so I don't really know. And I think the most amount of revision that was done was on the lobby. The lobby now has a few new details scattered around it, but most importantly, them adding NPCs for little tidbits of lore. The only people I recognize here is Poe. I still don't know what he does though. He's just kind of here, and the crows. I recognize the crows because they're my day ones. They refreshed Huss model. The UI looks cleaner. Hitboxes are better, I think. There's still some bullshit that happens to me, but you know, I'm pretty sure they're better. And the last thing I want to talk about in this section, because there's probably a lot that I missed, and that this game finally has progression. The progression in this game is tied to the currency souls, which look just like gold coins. Oh wait, I know another game that also has gold coins. Dude, that's crazy. The amount of coins you can earn depends on how much karma you can earn in a match. Karma is like a secondary currency you earn by just doing shit. Doing tasks, using abilities, killing people, etc. The better you do, the more karma you earn, meaning the more coins you earn, and after all that shit, you can use your coins in the newly introduced shop. The shop is the most obvious addition to the game, and a very fleshed out one, having a decent amount of emotes, good quality skins, and obviously the characters. They also have a new inventory area, which I think looks really cool and I like over the old one. The only 2 things I can think of that are somewhat problems is the bloodlust thing a killer can get and the way you can become killer, which is Sin. I don't know what bloodlust does, but I'm pretty sure you get it if like someone quits mid-match, which means it probably gives you a buff or something. Probably didn't read somewhere, but I still don't know what it does. And Sin is a bit confusing because I don't know how you get it. It's probably from the amount of karma you get, or it's random, but the fact I've gotten killer twice in a row before means I'm puzzled by it. It's only happened once, but the fact it happened still kind of confuses me. Other than that, I really like all the changes that I listed. I'd say they were all pretty positive and just good. You can't really complain about them because considering the alpha state of the game. So the general section is somewhat wrapped up because I probably missed some shit, like I said. More importantly, I want to move on to how characters play in the beta. So let's move on to that now. On to characters as a whole. Not gonna be going into depth for survivors and killers because they all do the same shit aside from a single move from Catechus. Starting with killers, Husk still has the same abilities and I still personally think he's a rushdown killer. Although he has had some nerfs which were most definitely needed. I think his M1 does the same amount of damage. The other changes in this patch correlate to end lag, ragdolls, and such whatever the hell else. Catechus is also pretty much the same from his alpha state, aside from one of his moves being changed. In alpha, his spectral dash ability just made him dash 40 studs and turned him invisible, but now it's an actual dash that does 25 damage and is a bit more of an actual dash, aside from a little dash stealth move that it was prior. Husk is still definitely better for a reason I'll explain in a little bit, but also in beta, Killer's got the killer announce screen, I don't know what it's called, and like end screens, so it'll show who is the killer and which one they are because of the type of screen, and then for the ending, it'll just show them beating the shit out of your character. On to survivors. Noob still has a slingshot and cola and has just had some balance changes. He's still fine. Commander has a similar story, although in the most recent patch gave him a skin that looks a little familiar to me. Patient Zero, once again, similar story. Fjord and Toothy, though, are a bit different. Fjord's stun is still the same, although being a bit lowered in stun time, but his other move still doesn't make sense to me. His move, Warrior's Call, can give teammates and I think yourself a 20% damage reduction at the cost of slowing your movement down for 2 seconds and being in a 15 stud radius. The issue I noticed way back in alpha is that once you use this move for someone near you, you literally can't run away. You can't even move. If the killer is next to the person you buff, then they can just go over to you and get the jump on you because you can't run away. I feel like a better idea for this move could be reworking it to take a hit for someone else, like a block move that reduces damage a lot or can block a fatal hit. I don't mean to like steal off ideas, but I really don't got a better one, so yeah, that idea, here's a concept they threw together. Like I'm telling you, they gotta hire me, bro. I'm too good with these. Toothy Deer is simply just a new character. Well, new enough because he wasn't a part of the initial release of the game. He's a good support, good heals. His Ichor potion is good with the shield for survivors and slowness for killer. Maybe rework the passive to faster revive or slightly more health when revived, because getting a speed boost and a shield after you're revived is so situational that I don't really think it's functional. Literally, unless you revive someone right before the killer gets to them, which never really happens because you can pick people up and carry them to revive them elsewhere. Aside from those nitpicks I have with Fjord and Toothy, every other character works fine. But lastly, I want to talk about the state of matches, if that makes sense. Both teams, I feel, have an equal chance of winning depending on the skill of either teams, but I do feel that the game is a bit more survivor-sided, and that comes down to mainly maps and vaulting. There's only 3 maps in the game right now, being the Heights, Asylum map, and the Office map, and one of them is significantly better for killer, that being specifically Husk. The Heights is a very open map, making it great for Husk because of forward leap, allowing him to just jump over certain vaulting spots, while Catechus can't do that, and either has to do the walk of shame around the vault spot, or use his ultimate and inevitably miss. On the contrary, the Office map is great for Catechus because it's all condensed hallways, making it great for his foul breath and dash abilities. The Asylum map is like a middle ground though, useful for both killers. But if you get the Hypes map as Catechus, and you're going against good players, long story short, it's over. 6 months later, is Alter Ego actually worth sinking time into? I think so. I actually do think so. I think what makes it stand out a bit is that 1, this game isn't a part of any drama, for once, and 2, I do think it succeeds in standing out a tiny bit in its own way. The game is packed with quality, showing it off mainly with the maps and expensive skins, and the potential upcoming roster and current survivors have their own charms. You can definitely tell a few of them are based off of old Roblox, like the Noob and I think Toothy Deer, and then also Commander from the hit Roblox game Tower Defense Simulator, but I think most of them are fairly unique alongside with the respective egos, and considering how egos are direct opposites of their respective survivor, it could make for some interesting last man standing themes if they do that. Kind of hope they do, because they're kind of cool sometimes. I gotta redo this outro sequence because of how fucking out of date this shit is. This video would have been out a little earlier, but my dad is in the hospital and obviously I had to take care of that first. If you're curious as to what happened, look up Ayo the Pizza here. That's basically what happened.